Today, I'll be reviewing episode 8 of the Urusei Yatsura remake. Last time, we saw Sakura being hungry and being awesome. This episode made me laugh. As to why I say this, I'll say it in here. Warning! The spoilers are at the school's sports festival. The episode begins with the principal drinking tea with Cherry's cat. The homeroom teacher is told that he's gonna have a new student for his class when all of a sudden the building shakes. Both the principal and the cat are calmly drinking tea while this is happening. Lum shows up wearing a school uniform along with her dad wearing a pink suit. The homeroom teacher says that he is not qualified, but Lum's dad says that Lum is a genius. Lum is shiny. We get to Ataru's class and he's eating something. Lum pops up and hugs Ataru. Ataru is choking and he faints. It's the school's sports festival and we get introduced to the first half's title. Transfer student close call. Lum's joining in this. Knowing Lum being athletic, she can manage in this, right? Ataru is not happy with Lum transferring to his school. One of Ataru's classmates notices that there's an attractive girl in another class. Wait, is that Ran? Something is sus here. I'll explain it later. Ataru the simp flirts with Ran and Lum shocks Ataru for flirting. Lum looks at Ran. Lum tells Ran that they will talk later. Ran shows up at behind the gym and Lum smiles at her. She embraces Lum up in the tree and apparently they're childhood friends. Kinda like with Benten and Oyuki from episode 6, eh? We get a flashback of Ran looking at an album of when she and Lum were little kids. Ran mentions a guy and Lum here feels awkward about it. We finally see Ray in this remake, albeit in Ran's flashback. Ran says that Lum got engaged to Ray and Lum says that it's old news. All of a sudden, Ran is feeling quite sad and angry. Ran says that Lum should drop the friend act because of revenge. One-sided much? Ran is planning to steal Ataru and Lum's mad now. Ran reveals that she can steal people's life energy via her lips. She goes down the tree a la Mario and Lum here is freaked out by her. We get to the scavenger hunt race and Shotaro is in the lead. He gets a card which says an electrifying beauty. Wait a minute, Ran picks up a card and Ataru is simping over Ran again. Lum cuddles Ataru. Someone else got to first place and Ran calls for Ataru. Apparently, Ran needs a bucket. Oh no, it's not what it looks like. Shotaro had found Lum and grabs her while Ataru is looking smug. Ran grabs Ataru and goes behind the gym. She tells Ataru to kiss her and he's gonna go for it. But Lum drops a tatami mat on Ataru's head. After this, we get to the cavalry battle. Lum tells Ataru to stay away from Ran, while Ran here is acting cute to get simps. The cavalry battle begins and Ataru had found Ran. He goes towards her and Lum's mad. Ataru and Ran are trying to kiss each other, but one of Ran's simps kicks Ataru. They try doing it again, but Lum makes Ataru face away from Ran and Ran ends up kissing someone else, complete with the sucking of his life force. The guy ends up going weak and Lum's team falls. He's cutting a bonsai tree and talks like an old man. Lum tells Ataru that he's gonna end up like an old guy if he kisses Ran. She's mad. Later, Lum begs Ran to lay off Ataru. They end up looking at the sky and the constellations. Sound yummy. We get a flashback of when these two were little kids looking at the night sky. After this, Ran says that Ray fell in love with Lum and Ran is feeling jealous. And so the first half ends. The second half begins with Lum reading a letter from Ran. All of a sudden, we see a mini Ran robot holding on to Lum. The robot says that Ran had given up on revenge, along with saying that Ran is gonna be holding a farewell party this Sunday and tells Lum to invite Ataru. After this, the robot self-destructs. Sunday arrives and we see Lum and Ataru heading to Ran's place. We get introduced to the second half's title, Farewell Party Close Call. They arrive at a spaceship and Ran pops up. Her ship looks fancy and girly. Ataru gives Ran some roses and she puts it on a weird vase. She then gives some cookies to her guests. Lum's feeling something is sus in here, and so she gives the cookies to Ran's vase. The vase suddenly fell asleep. Ran shows up with the cake and she notices that her vase is asleep. Lum helps out Ran with the dishes and she notices that Ran is after Ataru again. He tries kissing Ran again but she refuses. Ataru notices that this is sus. Lum is planning to punish Ataru once they're home. Ran checks up on Lum and Ran closes a book. Lum is about to return to Ataru but he wanders off. Hold up, there's two of these simps now? Lum looks for Ataru and the original Ataru sees his copy. The original grabs his copy's parenthesis by accident and it ends up on the original's head. Ran grabs one of the Atarus and hands him to Lum. Lum goes home with one of the Atarus while Ran plans to kiss the other one. She kisses the other one while Lum and Ataru are leaving. Ran is mad that she got played and Lum wonders what had happened to Ran. The next day, Lum sees Ran and Ran tells of Lum. We now see a large alien tiger guy growling with a Lum doll. Is that Ray? And so the episode ends. This episode made me laugh. The first half is based off the first half of episode 18 and episode 33 from the original, along with chapters 48 and 55 of the manga. The second half is based off the second half of episode 18 from the original and chapter 58 from the manga. I've mentioned before that there is something sus with Ran. This has something to do with both her and Rei. What do I mean by this? Rei's absence in this remake up to this point is quite off. In the original, we saw Rei first in episode 3 before we get to Ran in episode 18. That said, Rei showing up in Ran's flashback in the first half kinda makes up for it. Knowing this remake, we may see Rei next week. After all, we got teased with Shotaro at the end of this remake's episode 2 before he was formally introduced in the following episode's first half. Kurama was teased at the end of this remake's episode 3 before she gets formally introduced in the next episode. And when we got teased with Benten at the end of this remake's episode 5 before she gets introduced in the next episode's first part. Will this remake also do this with Ten? We'll just wait and see. After all, Ten has yet to show up in this remake while he's in the original's episode 2. Now, let's go to Ran over here. I get that she's torn over her friendship with Lum and her vengeance against Lum over Rei. That said, the latter is heavily one-sided because Lum genuinely cares about Ran and because Lum is shown to not have any feelings for Rei. Aside from Lum chasing after her darling Ataru since episode 1, there's also the fact that Lum feels awkward whenever Ran mentions Rei around her. So, what will happen next? Come join me next week as I'll be reviewing episode 9. Support small channels like mine by subscribing and liking this video.